Welcome back to Used to Sew, a podcast about sewing machines, sewing history, and sewing culture in the past and present. I am your producer and co-host, Aradia, daughter of your main host, T.R. Kelly.
Welcome back to Used to Sew. Today we're doing the second half of an earlier episode rewind from season 1. Last week we covered fast fashion, and today we're going to cover planned obsolescence, which is kind of the mechanical version. We discuss how that applies to sewing machines and cars and just the general concept of making things break or be worthless on purpose for nefarious ends. But anyway, how planned obsolescence and fast fashion are related and what we can do about that. Yeah, you'll notice that the sound quality is a little different because this is from over a year ago, and we were just getting our technical legs under us. But yeah, this is really important stuff, and it's one of the reasons why you can't buy one of those good old sewing machines anymore. I mean, why can't you buy one of those good old sewing machines anymore? Well, this episode kind of talks about why. Let's get into it.
So you were talking about, not to feel ashamed of our choices in the past because we didn't know any better and but also this is all driven by demand from the consumer. Oh, it is. So this brings me to the absolute mind pretzel of planned obsolescence.
Oh boy. Well, fast fashion is planned obsolescence warp speed.
Right. We've been handed a system full of planned obsolescence and been expected to navigate it.
Because consumerism.
Yeah.
Because capitalism. Because profit margin. Because their love of money.
And you were talking earlier, before we got on mic, about how the fast fashion of clothing, the disposability of clothing, actually also ties into the disposability of sewing machines, and how sewing machines went from these 200-year lifespan monsters to a few go-arounds and parts are breaking pieces of trash. It's all related, right?
It is so. As I was researching for this episode, I came across this parallel with sewing machines and what is sewn on sewing machines. How people used to sew. But, of course, like so many other breaks in American culture, the Second World War was when, I'm going to find this thing because I want to read it. It's too cool. Okay, right. I found this on, what is this, Instagram? The person's name is Viridian River. And the title of their thing here was Sewing Machines and Planned Obsolescence. So I'm just going to use this. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to synopsize this article as I read through it. This person got 2 sewing machines made 100 years apart. An old treadle machine from the 20s that they pulled out of a trash on a rainy day. And a new brother sewing machine from about 2020. The person says, I've always known planned obsolescence was a thing, but never knew just how insidious it was until I started looking at these 2 sewing machines side by side.
A century of change.
I wasn't feeling hopeful at first that I'd actually be able to fix the old one. I found it in the trash at 2 a.m. in a thunderstorm. It was rusty, dusty, soggy, squeaky, missing parts, and 100 years old. How do you even find specialized parts 100 years later? Well, easily, it turns out. The manufacturers at that time didn't just make parts backward compatible to be consistent across the years, but also often interchangeable across brands. Imagine that today, being able to grab a part from an old iPhone to fix your Android. Then the person goes on to say, anyway, 6 months after having them both, I can confidently say that my busted-up trash machine is far better than the new one or any consumer-grade sewing machine on the market. Then the person shows a picture, old machine guts. The old machine can sew through a pile of leather thicker than my finger like it's nothing. It's actually terrifying, and I treat it like a power tool.
I mean, for real, though.
At high speeds, it's well balanced. It doesn't shake. The parts are all metal, attached by standard flathead screws, designed to be simple and strong, easily reachable, repairable, and replaceable. The tools I need to work on it, a screwdriver and oil. Lost my screwdriver? That's okay, a knife works too. Then there's a picture of new machine guts. Now remember, this is a brother from 2020. Okay. 100 years later, new machine guts. The new machine's skipping stitches now that the plastic parts are starting to wear out. It's always throwing software errors, and it damn near shakes itself apart at top speed. Look at these innards. There's a picture. I could barely fit a borescope camera that's as thick as spaghetti in there, let alone my fingers. Very little is attached with standard screws. This part's interesting, and it's infuriating. I'm an engineer. There's no damn reason to make high-wear parts out of plastic.
None.
This is the key in sewing machines, keep that in mind. Or put them in places they can't be reached to replace. There's no reason to make your mechanism so unbalanced that it's reaching the point of failure before reaching its own design speed.
Gee, yeah.
It was made to go 100, but don't take it over 80.
Scathing review from the facts department.
100 years, and your standard home sewing machine, this is again from Viridian River, 100 years, and your standard home sewing machine has gone from a beast of a machine that can be pulled out of literal waterlogged trash and repaired, to a machine that eats itself if you sew anything but delicate, fast fashion fabrics, also designed to fall apart in a few years.
Appreciative slam poetry snapping. Like, oh my God.
And if you go into a fabric store now, all the fabrics themselves are made in Southeast Asia. When I worked in a fabric store, all of our fabrics were made in the USA, and some exotic fabrics, quote, quote, were made in China. Usually fancy stuff.
Right, fancy shit that's very specific. Yeah. It's not being outsourced. It's unique to the region.
Yeah. And now you go into the fabric stores even smell different.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Different. And you hold up the fabric and you can see the weave, and things are just so cheap.
That line about it's made to so fast fashion, just like...
Yeah, let me read that again. 100 years, your standard home sewing machine has gone from a beast of a machine that can be pulled out of the trash and fixed, to a machine that eats itself if you sew anything but delicate, fast fashion fabrics that are also designed to fall apart in a few years.
That's a bad century of change, you know? That's going downhill. That's bad.
Then this is like, we have the technology and knowledge to manufacture, quote, those old sewing machines still. Hell, even better, sewing machines with that mechanical design quality, but with more modern features. It would be so easy at a technical level to start building things well again. Hell, it's easier to fabricate something sturdy than to engineer something to fail at just the right time.
Oh my God. For real though.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the insidious part, is like you had to work, like maliciously work to make things this bad. This level of shittiness is not accidental. It has to be on purpose. I mean, it's accumulation of many generations working together, but still, you have to be trying to make it this bad.
Okay, now this is from Wiki. Thank you to all the people that are as nerdily into niche stuff as we are, because they really want to make sure that things are right and footnoted. So we're going to go back to the mid-century here. What is planned obsolescence? Like, we hear that phrase, and we kind of know what it means. In economics and industrial design, planned obsolescence is the concept of designing a product with an artificially limited useful life or purposefully frail design, so that it becomes obsolete after a certain predetermined period of time, upon which it suddenly ceases to function, functions less well, or is perceived as unfashionable. Right? Now let's tie back into the fashion cycle, to the planned obsolescence cycle for machinery. Okay. The rationale behind the strategy, of course, is to generate long-term sales volume by reducing the time between repeat purchases, referred to as shortening the replacement cycle. It is the deliberate shortening of the lifespan of a product, either through fashion or function, to force people to purchase replacements. Okay. The history of planned obsolescence, this is where it gets good. 1920s.
All right, 100 years ago.
In 1924, actually.
Precisely 100 years ago.
The American automobile market. Now, I've drawn the parallel, and I will continue to draw the parallel between sewing machines and cars as the most important mechanical things that shaped our life now. In 1924, the American automobile market began reaching saturation point. What that means is everybody who wants a car has got a car.
Right.
And because cars are new and exciting, they've been built really well, right? We're competing. We want to build the best car. Right. So got all these, I mean, if you look back over the beginning of car manufacturing and sewing machine manufacturing, there were a lot of small manufacturers, and everybody was trying to build the best car. General Motors, which was the biggest of the big, and they were slowly buying out the little guys because the less competition you have, the shittier you can make your product, and people will still have to buy it.
Yep. Kind of got us captive when you're the only game in town.
Right. So this happened to Singer in the 60s. We'll get to that too. General Motors in 1924, their top executive suggested an annual model year design change to convince car owners to buy new replacements each year with refreshed appearances, headed by Harley Earl and the art and color section. Dynamic obsolescence, meaning it's not any different, but it looks different.
It's just the fashion. It's not the function. Right. It's still a car. It's still going to get however many 100,000 miles. It's still whatever, has heated seats, but the lights are shaped. The thing is shaped a little different.
Start to see this in the 50s and 60s especially.
Different shade of red. It goes slightly faster.
So this guy in 1924, it's like, this strategy had far-reaching effects in the product design field and eventually the whole American economy because the smaller players could not maintain the pace and expense of yearly restyling of their products.
Because it's completely impractical and they were built to do practical things.
Exactly. Henry Ford, let's see, Chevy, General Motors started it. Ford says he did not like the constant stream of model year changes because he clung to the engineer's notion of simplicity, economy of scale, and design integrity.
You know, Henry Ford had a mixed bag of ideas.
He did.
He had a real mixed bag.
He was really controversial on a lot of his stuff, but he also promoted the notion that his car had to be affordable for the people that were building them.
Right. And now he's mad at make and model year bullshit. It's hard not to like him sometimes.
Yeah. But GM surpassed Ford's sales in 1931 because Ford wouldn't keep up. Now, Singer did the same thing. They would not change. They produced the 201 clear up until the 60s. People did not want that old-fashioned looking machine.
And Singer was like, fuck you, I'll sell what I want.
I mean, the 301, they started to style away from the curvy sewing machine body with the 301, which was an aluminum machine first. The featherweight and the 301. But anyway, this is a fascinating thing among sewing machine collectors. The 401A Singer, everybody knows the 401A, right? You guys quilters, the 401A. Okay, it's all metal, direct drive, blah, meow. The 500A, the famous Rocketeer, is the exact same machine with a different outside. Same cam stack, same motors, only the appearance has been restyled. Same colors, though. Just a different shape. Now, isn't that funny? First, we went from black. Singer's first different color machines were tan, because that was still, tan, and a few green ones. But they were late to the zigzag boat, and they were late to the styling update boat, just like Ford here.
Wow, so Singer and Ford are kind of paralleling in the automobile sewing machine parallel. Right. These two are sort of on their track.
They were both pioneers in their industries, too. Ford copied his assembly line stuff from Singer, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
I gotta find a thing for that, but I recently came across that. Like, no, the automotive industry did not.
Ooh, I'm putting a pin in that for a future episode.
Yes. Sewing machine. See, sewing machines invented credit. I mean, people just have forgotten about sewing machines. Darn it. Okay, so planned obsolescence again. Planned obsolescence was first popularized in 1954 Now we're getting up to that post-war glory.
Post-war economic prosperity.
The phrase was popularized in 1954 by Brooks Stevens, an American industrial designer. He was due to give a talk at an advertising conference, of course, in Minneapolis, 1954. Without giving it much thought, he used that term as the title of his talk. From that point on, planned obsolescence became Stevens' catchphrase. By his definition, planned obsolescence was, now think about this, instilling in the buyer the desire to own something a little newer, a little better, a little sooner than is necessary. The phrase was quickly taken up by others, but Stevens' definition was challenged. By the late 50s, this is where it really starts to impact sewing machines. By the late 1950s, planned obsolescence had become a commonly used term for products designed to break easily.
Yeah, it's a derogatory term.
Or quickly go out of style.
Yeah, this is not a positive anymore.
In fact, the concept was so widely recognized that in 1959, car maker Volkswagen mocked it in their advertising campaign. While acknowledging the widespread use of planned obsolescence among major automobile manufacturers, Volkswagen pitched itself as an alternative. We do not believe in planned obsolescence, the ad says. We don't change a car for the sake of change. In the famous advertising campaign, one of their adverts showed a blank page with the strapline at the bottom. No point in showing the 1962 Volkswagen. It looks the same. Volvo was notorious for this too.
I love this for them. I mean, even now they're not that different. I mean, you can tell they've been very slow to choose to do this.
Yeah.
Shit from across the decades all looks the same.
So when styling became, okay, now it's post-war prosperity. And everybody, chicken in every pot.
Yeah. And a car in every garage, very specifically. And one can infer, and a sewing machine in every closet.
Oh, in 1960, cultural critic Vance Packard published The Waste Makers, promoted as an expose of the systematic attempt of business to make us wasteful, debt-ridden, permanently discontented individuals.
Well, that seems to have worked.
Planned obsolescence goes into two subcategories. Obsolescence of desirability. It went out of style. It's not cool
Right,
anymore.
that's where the 2-week season problem really is.
With clothes.
Yeah, specifically.
Especially with clothes. And obsolescence of function. This is stuff that breaks.
Right.
Obsolescence of function. Well, back to sewing machines. The first thing sewing machines do is sew straight. You don't have to have a reverse. You don't have to have a zigzag. You don't even have to have a sewing machine. Once sewing machines were invented and everybody had one, how do we sell them another one?
Right, especially if it could be a family heirloom for 6 generations.
They were built to last. All my old singers, you can take apart the plugs, the light sockets. Everything has pieces you can order, screws. There isn't any part that can't be replaced. They were designed to be fixed. Mike and I won't even work on post-1970 machines. So many of them were designed with no user-serviceable parts inside. Things are glued together, non-standard fasteners, but heavy use of glue. Apple products are known for their impenetrability.
Yeah.
Because they just want to sell you a new one. Unfortunately, that's what I had to participate in when I worked for the Singer Company.
Right.
Don't fix it, sell them a new one.
Right, yeah, because you were there in the 80s. That's very deeply into the consumerist era.
Oh, Singer in the 80s. We'll get to that. I was hired right before Singer sold their sewing division. But the thing was, as I was trained by them, every repair, you want to think every repair is going to end in a sale of a new machine. That was the goal.
That's just so counter to the reduce ethos. You can't reduce if that's what you're trying to do.
And it was counter to what the original builders of those machines would have. I mean, they were building things to last. Just like Henry Ford, he was building his cars to last with the best technology available. He didn't want them to fail. He was an engineer. He wanted them to be the best. So did Singer and the people that worked for the company. We want to make the best sewing machine. That's why the 201 happened. Because that was, when people say it was the best sewing machine Singer ever made, it's not that it was it was. And not that there weren't others, but that was peak engineer geekery. We're going to build it to last and be the most perfect thing. I actually don't think that machine is the best one for every use. It's very precise and finicky if you're going to be sewing with heavy thread or horse blankets. A 1591 is a much better choice because it's not a full rotary.
Yeah, no, it makes sense that like a good tool that is perfect for its job will be deeply imperfect for other jobs. You can't be all purpose. It's just really hard to do that. Like,
well, honey, why do you need more than one sewing machine? Well,
yeah,
you got to have, it depends if you're sewing. I mean, the older machines could be adjusted more to be more all-purpose. Some of those old guys, I mean, I used to tell my customers, I thread this thing with wire, I could sew sheet metal with it. And some of those old ones you practically could. But you could also make them sew heirloom baby doodads. So how do you sell sewing machines when everybody has one? You add things, which will bring me to one of my next Tales in Sales idiot stories about the Singer Imperial. You want me to sell that? Oh, shit. This is when I started telling customers not to trade their machines in.
but we'll get to that another day.
We'll get to that on another day. The Singer 603 was the last all-metal machine. And that was in the middle 1960s, I believe. Because that series was the first touch and sew series with the bobbins that wound. You didn't have to take them out. They'd wind right in the thing.
Oh, wow.
It was a really convenient thing. Bobbins didn't hold much thread.
Sure.
But since they wound right in there, you didn't have to take, But it was a gimmick. Right? What are you going to do when you person's machine works just fine? You're going to put some gimmicks on there. So the wind in place bobbin. But the drivetrain was still the same as the old Slant-O-Matic. Same drivetrain. Some updates. Well, the motor, the cams, all the way you got the different stitches was still with levers, and it moved little mechanical doodads. It's still an all mechanical. There's no computer or anything, and there's no plastic anything. An aside, I read on one of these things. Old sewing machines are all metal. Middle era sewing machines are like all metal with a little plastic. Modern sewing machines are all plastic with a little metal.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's true.
Yeah.
I saw that just in my short 3 years, how quick that changed. Okay, so 603E, great. That's my personal cutoff. Well, a few others, because some of the machines that came after that, especially the mid-price Stylist line, which a lot of us learned how to sew on as teenagers in the 70s, is one of the first ones that was made with nylon gears, which is weird. Early nylon wears out, cracks. It cracks. The gears crack in half. They're still available. You can buy them, put them on, but this is not something Mrs. Customer can do. No, use the first serviceable parts inside. That would have never been a customer serviceable thing, but it's like, should I buy this sewing machine? Turn the hand wheel. Open the throat plate, look where the bobbin goes. Turn the hand wheel. Is anything moving? No? Don't buy the sewing machine. It's got broken gears. I can fix that. Mike can fix that. Mrs. Customer herself could probably fix it if they have the instructions. But that's just a few. Well, why did they change to plastic gears?
Yeah. Why did they change to plastic gears?
The official excuse was customers aren't taking care of their machines and greasing them like they're supposed to. So we're going to make a surface that doesn't need to be greased, which is different than oiled.
Okay.
It's like the transmission in a manual car. It's like these metal things are cruising together. They need, right?
It's the customer's fault. They're too stupid to deserve metal gears.
Well, that's what the marketing department... Self-lubricating sewing machines. You don't have to oil them anymore. What does that mean? That means they're not designed to last long enough to need oil. And the way they do that is brass bearings, because brass soaks up oil, and it'll soak up enough oil. The really funny thing is somebody says, oh, this machine's almost industrial strength. Have you ever seen an industrial sewing machine? This one's a quart low. They have an oil pan and an oil pump and a wick system that feeds all of the moving parts. They're not designed self-oiling. Self-oiling means there's an oil pump and little lines and squirting oil into things. Planned obsolescence stuff. to make a machine that can't be cared for. There's no oil holes. I would sell one of these new machines to people. Well, where do I oil it? You don't.
That's unsettling.
It's unsettling. It's really unsettling because any of the old all-metal machines, let me just say pre-19, well, let's say pre-19 my birthday, about when the 603E came out. Yeah, it came out about around when I was born, early 60s. You got your instruction manual, and there was a whole section devoted to oiling, greasing, cleaning, maintenance, checking bobbin clearance, all this stuff that the customer, like, I saw a meme the other day, old cars instruction manuals showed you how to gap the spark plugs, and today's manuals say don't drink contents of the battery. How far have we come, you know?
Oh, wow.
So the dumbing down of sewing machine, I mean, it came into your house as a piece of precision machinery that needed cared for, and it became a disposable appliance. Disposable.
It hurts. It hurts knowing where it started. It's not like it's never been a precision machine of wonderment. It was.
It was, and it still is, because millions were made, and they're out there waiting for you to rescue them.
It's true. It's true. I have handled many of them myself. I have some in my room, my sewing room right now. They're out there. They're out there.
And gosh, folks, if you're listening and you're, yeah, okay, I want an old sewing machine, ask your, I don't want to be sexist, ask your older female relatives, hey, you got a sewing machine hiding in your closet? Does grandma have one in the family room? Or did you inherit one from grandma and it's just holding up your portable TV set? Do you have a sewing machine and you want to sew on it? Because after listening to us for a while, you're going to want to.
I sure hope that we're inspiring some people to want to get some stitchery on.
You know, I've told you folks before, my oldest machine is 150 years old. Most of the machines in my personal collection are from between 1895 and 1920. 21. Yeah. No, I have one from 1955. That's my newest one, my 1955. But it's got plastic in it. I've had to replace a pulley, and there's a belt in there that'll eventually break. It's a timing belt. It's metal and cotton thread, and it's just not designed robustly. It's still good, but there's a lot of, I can see where it's going to fail.
Yeah.
I've replaced wiring already, because that's something that, okay, 7-year-old wiring probably isn't good. That's another thing. If you want to learn how to sew and your subject machine is electric, we will get to, on our next episode of the machines themselves, we'll talk about electricity.
All right, we'll put a pin in that.
Starting with the Singer 101. Barbershop quartet noise.
What machines do I have in my sewing room? I have the Black Singer, which is the older one, and that just does the straight stitch. I don't even know which one that is. I just know it's exuberant.
We put a little magnet on it.
Magnet exuberant on it.
So since it's a Singer, we thought an exuberant Singer would be good.
It's an exuberant Singer.
That is a centennial model, which means 1951. If you notice, the badge on the machine has a little blue rim around it. It says a century of sewing service. 1851 to 1951. So in the Singer world, that's a centennial machine.
Gotcha.
This means it was made in 1951 or shortly around in there.
Yeah, sure.
The model is 15-91. It is considered it's under the 201. Mm-hmm. It's like the next to the top of the line. Gotcha. It's got the same motor as the 201, the same tough gear drive motor, but the whole shape of the body and the way the machine is formed, it's an oscillator. It's an oscillating mechanism. The shuttle, if you look underneath, goes back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
The cool thing about that is it can handle a lot. There's more slop in the system. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more room for thread clearance to adjust for using really heavy thread. If you do get a thread jam, everything pops apart real easy. If you get a thread jam in a 201, you got to take a lot of stuff apart.
Sure, yeah. And then my other machine is the Kenmore. And that one has a lot of like plastic styling and fanciness on the outside.
But the guts are metal.
But yeah, I believe even the cams, the pattern cams are all metal.
And the body's metal.
Yes, and the body is metal. It's really just the
The front
aesthetic
cover
work.
plate, yeah.
And I think some of the actual like knobs and dials, those
Yeah.
themselves are plastic, but everything else is metal. And that's from when?
That is Sears Best from about 1973 or 4. And Sears had their own factory in Japan. So they weren't buying Japanese machines and putting Singer's name or Sears' name on, Sears Kenmore. They actually had many factories in Japan to make their line of stuff. And this is classic. I mean, the White Sewing Machine Company made all of Kenmore's machines in the 50s and 60s. They just contracted with that American manufacturer. We want you to build this machine. Nobody copied Kenmore's. Kenmore's designs are unique to them. You have to put their machines in their cabinets because the bases are wider. They have this super high bar presser foot. Again, they want to build, I've invested so much stuff into my accessories, I better buy another Kenmore.
And all the accessories are backwards compatible, forwards compatible, all that good stuff within the Kenmore.
Within
or within
they
a
did
particular.
The same thing as Singer did.
Oh, really?
Singer changed. Oh my God! Now everything's going to have the slant shank, so you have to replace your vertical shank with the slant shank, which is taller, and it. So now you have to buy all new accessory feet, a whole new buttonhole.
That's how they get you, is the damn accessories.
And why did they change it to the slant needle? Again, we need to add a new feature and tout it. Oh, why? Well, you can see better. Because now you can see to thread it better.
Because you're saying this machine,
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an incremental convenience, but incremental convenience? This takes us back to the Singer Imperial.
Yeah, so incremental inconvenience really is the arc of planned obsolescence.
Even the poor little Singer Featherweight.
No.
That was manufactured from 1934 to 1968. The body shape stayed the same, but there were a lot of changes as the design got older. It got less precise. It got cheaper. They started cutting corners. And even though the white featherweights are, quote, rarer in the United States, they're not nearly as good. They have a timing belt. They have just different stuff. They don't sound the same. They're not as strong. So a lot of times the Singer gave that, is like, it became less cost effective to produce it. The original ones took a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
The hand stamping the plates. The book I have follows through the design, but the basic concept of the machine never changed. Same bobbins came, same bobbin case. Everything that changed about it was strictly styling or cost cutting.
Fast fashion?
Even the cases got cheaper and flimsier the farther along in the design things went. Fast fashion.
Fast fashion of the sewing machine, for the sewing machine, by the sewing machine. It's just everywhere.
Yeah. It's just this whole thread of, and it really all starts with that post-war thing. And there was another thing about planned obsolescence, design lifetime. A possible method of limiting a product's durability. This is the part of this that really applies to sewing machines. This could have been written about modern sewing machines.
Okay.
It's so perfect.
Okay.
Possible method of limiting a product's durability is to use inferior materials in critical areas or suboptimal component layouts which cause excessive wear.
Mm-hmm.
This one is classic. Using soft metal and screws so they strip out, and cheap plastic instead of metal in stress-bearing components will increase the speed at which a product will become inoperable through normal usage and make it prone to breakage from even minor forms of abnormal usage. So what they're saying is using cheap materials makes it break quick even if you use it as intended.
And this is something that has been forced upon us by our industrial overlords.
Okay. For example, small brittle plastic gears in toys are extremely prone to damage if the toy is played with roughly, which can destroy key functions and force the purchase of a replacement. Sewing machine gears. If you break your feed gear, you can't do anything. It's not like, it's stuck on straight stitch. I can't use zigzags or anything. If your feed gear's broke, you're done. Now, you only paid $249.99 for this machine, or $149.99, or something really cheap. And for the sewing machine technician to look at, it's going to cost $100. What are you going to do? You're going to buy
Yeah.
a new one with even better features.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
it's a reason to
same-
upgrade.
And the same cheap plastic gears as the one that just broke. Mm-hmm. And what's happening to the one just broke? Well, just like fabric, inexpensive sewing machines are made out of mixed materials. Plastic, different kinds of plastic. You've got, in some Singer machines, this stuff called Durex, which is this weird fiberglass cement stuff. That's the ones I was selling were made out of that. It's like football helmets, Mrs. Customer. Bullshit.
Ugh.
It's plastic. It's what they call now resin. Plastic. So, and then there's metal inside the machine, right? Oh, it's all metal, they would tell us. It's all metal inside. What kind of metal?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it an alloy? Is it well made?
You know how your bobbin winder on your Kenmore broke?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That material is called pot metal.
Yeah. There it is.
Pot metal is really cheap metal with no structural integrity. You don't ever even know what's in it. It's usually a percentage of tin.
It's like a suicide drink
it's
from a
just-
soda fountain. It's just all of it.
Yeah, there could be aluminum, tin, any cheap metal, any metal scraps that can be got cheaply. And so they can say, and actually, there are a lot of plastics that are way stronger. If your bomb winder thing had been made out of metal, out of nylon, it'd be
Yeah, a good nylon instead of shitty metal.
yeah. And you look underneath the sewing machine, and as the years have gone by, more and more components are being replaced with pot metal. Feed rock shafts, things that aren't directly in the rotational thing. And so we're the last thing to actually be steel, like tool grade steel, is like just the two main shafts. That's it. Everything else is driven with plastic belts and self-oiling bearings, which we've talked about, aren't. But yeah, the fact that you can't really, as a consumer, repair any modern sewing machine. And the fact that most modern sewing machines aren't designed to be repaired, and those that are take a lot of specialized training, like your friend's friend that does the embroidery machines and the Berninas and stuff. Now, when somebody buys a Bernina, they've invested a lot of money, thousands of dollars. Yeah, they're going to pay the shop rate of $100 an hour. It's no big deal.
Sure. Yeah.
But the Bernina is going to last longer than the Singer they got at Walmart.
Right. Right. So
But I don't know. Everything's made in China now. There's very few things that are not.
yeah. Yeah. So if you want to go full mid-century, high quality, last forever stuff, you got to go vintage. You got to go secondhand.
Gotta go vintage. And I know I'm a person who's involved with Singer and Kenmore and Japanese HAJA imports, but the European machines from that period are also very high quality.
Same idea.
Pfaff, Viking Husqvarna, Necchi, which is an Italian brand. What's that other one? Elna, which is Swiss. But again, once we get past, Europe was bombed all to hell.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the things that the U.S. Marshall Plan, which rebuilt Europe through loans to businesses and things, sewing machines was one of the most in-demand things that people wanted. So sewing machines got going again pretty quick. And also, Japan really came back roaring with sewing machines.
Yeah, for sure.
Japanese sewing machines of the 1950s and 60s are works of art. They really are. They cared about building good machines then. But they also knew about design and styling and what Americans wanted to buy. So if you look at pictures of, let's say, 1960 Morse, it's covered with chrome,
We do like our chrome.
two-tone paint, lots of knobs and dials. It looks like a freaking Buick.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And the cool thing is they did all that design stuff, but those things were tanks. I still was like, oh, you want to buy a really inexpensive, hardcore used machine and you're not really into brand names? Let's find you an old Morse Photomatic. Those are like, there aren't many around. Probably now I'm going to say, oh, there aren't any left. If I could see Photomatics get the same attention as featherweights, it'd be great.
Do you have any other notes that you wanted specifically to get to?
Just that the fact that we want people to keep in mind that planned obsolescence is the mechanical version of the fashion cycle. And to buy good things that last and can be repaired. whether it be your appliances or your clothing, is the goal. So your call to action is to, look at your toaster, your sewing machine, your mixer, and to buy an old one and have it checked out by one of us nutty hobbyist types will cost you a little money in the short term. But remember, these machines were designed to last 100 years. And oiling them really isn't that hard.
Well, thank you very much for that info dump. And yeah. There you have it. A series of loosely organized tangents around fast fashion and planned obsolescence, which strayed into the unexpected territory of papermaking, fabric disposal, and parallels between the Ford and Singer companies. This episode helped me appreciate how long of a process it has been to get to this point of fragile, cheap garbage everywhere we turn, as well as just the sheer depth of how far we have fallen. Also, hopefully I will remember who my particular sewing machines are in the future. As a reminder, we are unofficially sponsored by Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, who do repairs and restorations. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can support us by sharing the podcast with your friends, and also with money at patreon.com/used2sew. Remember, that 2 is a 2. patreon.com/USED2SEW. Thank you for listening to us here at Used to Sew. We always welcome your additions, corrections, and feedback in general. Please reach out to us via email at usedtosew@gmail.com. Used to Sew is a production of Fox and Raven Media. For more podcasts from Fox and Raven Media, visit our website at foxandravenmedia.com.